Atlético de Madrid, Atlético de Madrid.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Partido podcast, the English-speaking podcast about all things Atleti. Today I'm, as usual, with Emmanuel. How are you doing, Emmanuel?
Well, I'm doing great. And you, Ata?
Very good. So let's get right into it. We're starting with the review of the Atletico Madrid draw against Barcelona at the Camp Nou. What were your thoughts about the game, Emmanuel?
Well, I think the game was very good from Atleti's point of view, given that Atleti played like in the first half as the team who were looking for the win. They clearly had the better chances, defended well. Some players had standout performances. And in the second half, I think it was even. I think Barcelona had some chances, but not really clear-cut. Atleti could have had many chances, but due to maybe not understanding one another, not being effective in the final third, and so many of those opportunities didn't turn into goal-scoring chances. So I think overall it was a very good performance from Atleti. That is something I'm hoping we play like that until the end of the season.
Absolutely. There were many players who had very fantastic game. I think Hermoso was amazing, both in defense and when attacking. He had some chances, including that chance for Correa, which Langley made, or I'm not sure if it was Langley or PK, but he made an absolutely crucial tackle to deflect it to a corner. There was Savage, who as well this season has been very solid. There was Koke, killed everything in the middle beautifully. And of course, can't forget Carrasco. He had such an amazing game, Carrasco, despite making a few bad decisions in the second half, which could have resulted in better chances. But overall, he was a nuisance for the Barca defense the entire time, and he continues his good form against Barcelona.
Yes, that's true. Carrasco always turns to play very well against Barcelona. Maybe it's because of the space Barcelona always allow, that is, they play a high line, but he always seems to do well against them. Like you said about his bad decision making in the second half, I think a player like Carrasco, that is something I would say I'm really used to. He's a very exciting player, but he tends to frustrate a lot, and that is due to his decision making. So, well, hopefully that gets better. And you talk about some players who were great in that game, and you forgot to mention Felipe. I think that is one of Felipe's best performances this season. It was really solid in defense. And you have already mentioned Koke, who has been struggling recently, but on the big game he turned up, controlled things, did so many good things also. And about the chance which the Barca defender deflected, it was Lenglet, or else Carrasco could have surely given Atleti the lead. Overall, I think Atleti played a very good game in which, like I mentioned before, they attacked the spaces behind the fullback using the pace of Carrasco, and Mingueza couldn't really handle Carrasco. But in the second half, Arau really adjusted due to his very good recovery pace, was able to stop many of the possible attacks Atletico have, and that was really something that made Barcelona to improve in the second half. I think one of the positive things from that game was Atleti having the ball, controlling the game. I would say in the second half, there were moments in which Atleti had the ball, they looked to pressure Barcelona, look for the goal. It was overall a very good performance for Atleti, in which he was just lacking a goal, and that was down to Atleti not being decisive in the final third. That means you see some good build-up play or counter-attack, and it leads to maybe a player missing a shot in the case of Suarez, or bad decision making in the case of Carrasco, or a poor pass in the case of so many players. Everything was good up to the final third, especially in that second half.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with. And the team did create some chances. There was a Llorente shot, which Ter Stegen couldn't deal with this. Had some difficulty dealing with it. There was a Suarez who had a good shot, tight angle, but troubles Ter Stegen too much. And he went for a shot from distance early on in the second half, but it was wide. But like you said, the team could have created many better chances with better decision making. But overall, I think it was a decent performance from the team, and attacking wise. But overall, it was an amazing performance. I think all of the players had a very good team. The players we have already mentioned just were, had a standard performance. And of course, we forgot to mention Oblak, who, as usual, is the savior for us.
That's very true. Oblak the wall is one of the best in the world. That save he made for Messi just before the halftime, in which Messi made a run from the midfield and almost scored one of his best goals of his career. Luckily, Oblak was there to deny him a moment of brilliance from him, giving Barcelona the lead which they did not deserve. Well, like you said, so many players had a very good game, which is very good on Atleti's part, given we are almost at the finish line, and so many players having no mistakes and putting that type of performance is very good. And one thing I will also say was I was impressed by how Cholo adapted to the game tactically. In the second half, when Barcelona kept on putting pressure, the first substitution he made was an attacking one, which that was surprising to me, given on the last podcast I said it was going to maybe which is somehow what happened, but they were more like I said before, Atleti had moments in the game in which they controlled the ball. Bringing on Felix, he knew that Barcelona would be wary of the threat Felix possessed. That means they will not press so high. That means technically Felix was doing the defending, I would say, in an attacking manner, given that just his presence already make the players wary of him. Like for example, he spun Piqué around and Piqué got a yellow card. So, and later on he put Kondombia to balance things up in the midfield. Well, towards the end of the game, you will see some tired legs. Hopefully, those players recharge their battery ahead of the Real Sociedad game. So overall, like we said, it was a decent game, but I would say not decent. It was a very good game from Atleti's point of view. Just that the result didn't really go Atleti's way.
Yeah, and you mentioned the substitutions. I think all of the players that came bench had a very good game. At first, you had Saúl, who after Lamar's injury relapsed. You had, I think we have to talk a little about Saúl. I think he was very good. He dealt very well with the Barcelona attackers. He balanced things in midfield and made quite a few tackles and interceptions. He was a very good. It was a very good showing from Kondogbia as well. Continues his good form. Made some nice runs forward, and like you said, Felix had. He didn't really have the flashiest game, but his contributions were important to the team. So yeah, I think Cholo got the changes absolutely spot on.
Yeah, that's very true. Like we have been singing on the podcast about Saúl. Finally, these recent games, you have not been hoping, but we have been seeing him performing very well, which is something that makes all of us smile, given that you and I are huge fans of Saúl. And I think one of the Atleti really made the most of the fact that Busquets was stopped off due to a collision he had with Savage, given that that destabilized the Barcelona's middle of the park, and we know Busquets is very good at tactical fouls, stopping transition. So Atleti, that's what I would say that's maybe one of the reasons Atleti had a very good first 45 minutes. But I'm not saying it's because of the fact, not just because of the fact that Busquets were not there, but the awareness to be able to do all those things, and Barcelona not really being stable, and we are capitalizing on that, was very good from our part. And missing Lemar going off early on is really something that bothers me, given that he has been the player when we play against low block teams. He's able to make the difference from us, and in our remaining games, 3 games, we may face a team, and hopefully he's okay and we need him.
Yeah, hopefully. So moving on, let's talk about the current state of the squad. Coming into the game against La Real on Wednesday. I think everyone is fit. Except for Lemar, who we don't know the state of his injury at the moment. There was Nunez, which was expected to start, but against Barcelona, he might not be match fit yet, so he was on the bench. Thankfully, stepped up and had a very good game. But I think that's it. I think everybody else is match fit for the La Real game, as things stand at the moment, though.
Yeah, it's good. Ahead of the Barcelona game, it was good to have everyone back, even though, like you said, Josema was not fit, but it was very good. Like, gives a positive feeling seeing that all the players have recovered from injury. Having a full squad is also very good, given that we are towards the end of the season. We are almost at the end, not towards, but so having everybody back is really positive. Also put a smile on Cholo's face, as it gives him more options and also many variations in how to set up the team.
So, can you please give us an idea of what La Real have been like recently?
Well, I think recently La Real haven't been consistent, and I think that's been the case with them all season. They are a bit on and off. When they are on, it's like they play one of the best footballs you ever see. Quick passes, interchanging. But when they are off, well, they are amongst one of the very boring or really bad team. But La Real, a formidable opponent. They are fighting for European places. They are currently fit on the table. So it's not going to be easy for Atleti. And towards the end of the season, Emmanuel has been trying different things. For example, he has been playing the 4-4-2 at times. He plays with Isaac and Carlos Fernandez, who came on loan, which they bought in January. But in recent games, last game this weekend, which they won, he played Isaac, and next to him was Oyarzabal. So I think ahead of Atleti game, he may go with the 4-4-2, and it was surprising that in midfield he went with Guevara. So one of the things we'll be wary of will be Isaac occupying our centre backs and giving Oyarzabal or his partner the free role or spaces to exploit in behind him, and also the threat in which their left back Nacho Monreal possesses. I'm saying because this season La Real, Emmanuel has been evolving tactically. He has not just been with his current 4-4-3, which he has used most parts of the season. Like you asked about recently, that's what I'm talking about, him changing things to the 4-4-2. So the game, it's not going to be an easy one, and because La Real have so many good players and they are fighting for something. So is Atleti, but we will have to be wary, especially of Isaac, given that if we put so much attention on him, his partner will be able to have that role to go around, and hopefully we can keep David Silva quiet. And one of the most important things Atleti will need to do will be defending the half spaces, given that if we are able to do that well, David Silva will not really have a lot of impact in the game, which if he's not able to impact the game that well, then is an advantage for Atleti. Like it was in the case when we defeated them at the new Real Arena, in which we minimized the impact of David Silva, and that worked to our advantage, given that we could hit them on the counter-attack. Even though the a goal from a set piece was what made the difference between both of us before Llorente scored the second.
Another player who usually causes problems for Atleti is Januzaj. He previously terrorized our defense, and I think he scored a free kick against us on the last match day last season.
Januzaj has been playing a lot recently, which is a surprise to many who watches La Liga, given that I'm not saying it's a surprise given that he's been playing. It's a surprise that he has not played in much this season, but recently he has been playing a lot, and we all know his qualities. He's a guy who is very good on the ball, good in tight spaces. He's very tricky, and like you said, he terrorized our defense on the last match last season when La Liga played Atleti and he scored from a free kick. So I think it's going to be a very good game for neutrals, but for us Atleti fans, we know how our team is going to play. But if Atleti can play how, I'm not saying the same approach to the Barcelona game, but if they play in a similar manner, means they are able to do the defensive work deep. Because in the Barcelona game, we were able to defend the box so well. That is one of the things in which has been missing in Atleti this season. So if we're able to defend the box so well, that means even if there will be crosses in the box for the likes of Isaac or maybe Carlos Fernandez to pounce on, we'll be able to deal with that easily, and we'll be able to strike the other way on the counter or maybe from set pieces or even generate play on our own part. But we'll have to be wary of the fact that, like we said in the previous podcast about Atleti defending deep, because defending so deep might walk into Larias, and given their team would like to have much of the ball, and defending too deep might give them much time on the ball. You don't want a player like David Silva to have 4 to 5, let me not say minutes, but let's say have like 1 to 1 minute 30 seconds to think with the ball, and they are runners like Isaac or Yazabal. So Atleti will have to be wary of such players, and also allowing players so much time on the ball, and tracking runners will be key.
Okay, so with all of this in mind, lineup would you choose? Would you go for the same lineup we used against Barcelona, or return to the 4-4-2 used in previous weeks?
Well, I will go for the same lineup we used against Barcelona, because of the fact that Nacho Monreal but he's the fullback that attacks more. That means for Real Sociedad, their left side, Nacho attacks more than the right back. So I will go for the 3-5 formation, given if the threat in which Trippier, Llorente possesses will be able to impact him not attacking more. And even when he does bomb up the pitch, we'll be able to exploit that space behind him, given that that's one of our strongest sides. That is the Trippier, Llorente, our strongest side, and we'll be able to capitalize on that. So I go for the same formation, but maybe say if Jimenez is match fit, he comes in for Felipe, and as for Lima, if given that he will not be available for the game, I will start Saúl in his place. I'm saying so given Saúl's recent performances have been so great. So I think I maintain the 3-5-2. Our wing backs will cause a lot of problem for them, and like we have seen this season, have a lot of confidence in Hermoso and Savage covering up for them. So I think I maintain the same formation, given that the threat we possess on the right side minimizes maybe Nacho Monreal bumping up the pitch, and also it will also force Januzaj into defensive work, which also gives him a longer distance to cover should Laria win the ball back in their own half, and also given we all know he's a very good player attacking wise, meaning he will not be that good defensively, and on occasions we may have 2v1s, that is Llorente and Trippier against Moria, which you can make the most of.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I think very much the lineup is very much obvious. The only decisions Cholo will have to make is Correa or Joao Felix, and Kondogbia or Saúl, if Lemar isn't fit by Wednesday. I think we continue with Saúl and Correa, unless Joao Felix, is feeling it and training is doing very well in training. So yeah, like you said, I would stick with the same lineup.
That's good. Both of us are on the same page, and hopefully Cholo gets things right this Wednesday as we take on Real Sociedad, and the players give their all to the team. And we are 2 points, currently 2 points ahead of Real Madrid and Barcelona, thanks to Sevilla holding Real Madrid to a draw, and we are still top of the table. So the title race is really, and nothing has changed. Nothing much has changed. As both team, all of the thing has maintained 2 point gap, and Sevilla, it's a 6 point gap. So it's really tense and tight at the top.
Okay, so you have just mentioned that Sevilla just played Real Madrid to a 2-2 draw. Real had to equalize in the second half, but I mean, it would have been better for Atleti if Sevilla won that game, but I think I'll definitely take a draw. This puts Atleti back. It puts things back in Atleti's hands. You know, win your games and you can win the title. Whereas if had Real Madrid won, been they would have been reliant on other clubs taking points from Real Madrid. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on every single one of that in the title race. And it is very tense at the moment. It is, quite nerve-wracking, and it's a very nervy time of the season. But hopefully, the team goes for it, match by match, partido, and gets the win in the last starting La Real, partido.
Yes, game by game. Same thing Cholo has been saying in all his press conferences. Hopefully, Atleti win all his games, as now we have the ball in our court. We just have to keep it rolling, and 3 victories means we win La Liga. Well, we take it game by game. Next is La Real on Wednesday, which is not going to be easy. And as you have just mentioned, the state of the title race in La Liga is really crazy this season. So many twists and turns, even though Atleti has been on top of the table since March the 9th. So hopefully we keep that up to March the 38th.
So
it was my pleasure.
And thank you for sticking with us. Remember, Nunca, Dejes, Creer. See you next episode. Thanks so much, Emmanuel, for everything, all your answers.
Yo me voy al Manzanares, al estadio Vicente Calderón, donde acuden a millares los que gustan del fútbol de emoción, porque luchan como hermanos, defendiendo sus colores, con un juego noble y sano, derrochando coraje y corazón. La 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 la. Atleti, Atleti, Atlético de Madrid. Atleti, Atleti, Atlético de Madrid. Jugando entre todos campeón.